Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pause for a moment and think. Right now, in this very instant, you are holding the key to a future that is more powerful, more fulfilling, and more successful than you ever imagined. You might be thinking, but how? That's where Napoleon Hill's timeless principles come in. He didn't just talk about success. He unlocked the blueprint for how you can turn your thoughts into reality. You see, the key to success isn't just about working harder or being luckier. It's about mastering your mind. It's about learning to harness the power of your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. How to awaken your inner millionaire mindset. The first step toward awakening your inner millionaire mindset is defining a purpose, a goal that is clear, specific, and compelling. You see, without a definite purpose, you are drifting through life like a ship without a rudder. You're moving, but you're not heading anywhere, and eventually you'll find yourself lost at sea. Napoleon Hill believed this principle was the foundation of all success. He wrote, "A definite chief aim is essential for success." This isn't just about having a vague idea of what you want. It's about setting a clear, powerful, and compelling goal, something that ignites a fire inside you, something that you wake up thinking about every single day. Without this, success is merely an idea that drifts in the air. But when you have a definite purpose, you have a reason to get out of bed every morning, a reason to push through the tough days, and a reason to never quit. Now, you might be wondering, why is it so important to have a clear purpose? Let me tell you why. When you don't have a clear purpose, life becomes a blur of distractions. You wake up each day with no real direction, doing things because you feel you have to, not because they bring you closer to your goals. Over time, this becomes a vicious cycle of frustration, confusion, and burnout. But when you have a clear and specific purpose, your life changes. Every decision you make becomes easier because you know the direction you're heading. Every action you take has meaning and intention behind it. The steps you take today don't feel like mundane tasks. They become the building blocks of a bigger vision. Hill once said, "A success comes to those who become success conscious." If you focus on your purpose, you will naturally start to see opportunities that align with it. Let me ask you, what is your definite purpose? What is it that you really want out of life? Not what other people want for you, not what society expects of you, but what do you truly desire in your heart? You need to dig deep here, because if your purpose isn't something that excites you, something that makes your heart race, then it won't be enough to drive you through the challenges and setbacks you'll inevitably face. Think about the people who have achieved extraordinary things in life. Steve Jobs, for example, didn't create Apple because he wanted to make money. He created it because he had a vision to change the world, to make technology accessible and intuitive. His purpose was clear. He wanted to innovate and revolutionize the way people live. And that purpose drove him through years of struggle, rejection, and failure. He didn't give up, even when it seemed like everything was falling apart, because his purpose was bigger than the obstacles in his path. It kept him going. It's the same for anyone who has achieved lasting success. Purpose fuels perseverance. If you don't have a purpose when things get tough, it's easy to give up. But when you have a vision, when you have a mission that speaks to your soul, it becomes almost impossible to quit. Purpose gives you the energy to keep pushing, the clarity to stay focused, and the strength to rise every time you fall. I know this might sound a little intimidating, especially if you're unsure of what your true purpose is right now. But here's the thing. Your purpose doesn't have to be clear from the start. It's a journey. It's about getting to know yourself better and figuring out what truly lights you up inside. Some people find their purpose early in life, and others take a little longer. The key is to start the journey, and as you move forward, your purpose will start to reveal itself as they begin. The first step is to ask yourself the tough questions. Think about what excites you, what you're passionate about, and what you want to contribute to the world. Contribute to the world. Ask yourself, what would I do if money wasn't an issue? What problem do I want to solve in the world? What do I feel called to do? These are the questions that will guide you to your definite purpose. But here's the critical part. Once you have that purpose, you need to commit to it fully. This is where so many people fail. They think they can just casually think about their purpose or goals, but to make it real, you must live it. You have to embrace it every single day, even when it feels overwhelming or uncertain. You need to hold on to that vision with both hands, and no matter what comes your way, Refuse to let go. This doesn't mean the path will always be smooth or easy. In fact, the more important your purpose is, the harder the road might be. But with a definite purpose, the challenges no longer seem like roadblocks, they become tests. They're obstacles that are meant to strengthen you, to push you closer to your goal. They're part of your story, part of what makes the journey worthwhile. Remember, your purpose will evolve, but that's okay. You may start with one vision, and as you grow and learn, it may change or shift slightly. The important thing is to keep moving forward. Keep refining and redefining your purpose as you gain more clarity. The act of moving toward your purpose will not only give you direction, but it will also teach you invaluable lessons about yourself and the world around you. Think of purpose as your personal compass. When the winds of life get tough, when everything seems to be going wrong, your purpose will be the one thing that keeps you grounded. It will always point you in the right direction. So, take a moment and reflect. Close your eyes for a second and think, what is the one thing I would do? No matter how difficult, no matter how much time or energy it takes, because I know it's my calling. That's where your power lies. Once you find it, once you commit to it fully, nothing in this world will stop you from reaching the success you deserve. Thought positive thinking is not just a motivational phrase. It's the foundation upon which all success is built. You may have heard the term a mind over matter before, but let's take a moment to truly understand what that means. Your thoughts shape your reality. Whatever you repeatedly think about, whether it's negative or positive, will eventually materialize in your life, Napoleon Hill understood this better than anyone when he said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. This is not just a nice thing to say, it's a fundamental truth. The power of positive thinking begins with one simple idea. You are in control of your thoughts. This may sound obvious, but let's really dig into this. How often do we allow negative thoughts to creep in without even questioning them? We tell ourselves things like, I'm not good enough, or it's too late for me to succeed. But these thoughts, even if they seem insignificant in the moment, are shaping your future, one belief at a time. The first step to unlocking the true power of positive thinking is to become aware of what you're thinking and realize that these thoughts are either lifting you up or holding you back. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thought that crosses your mind? Do you think about your goals, your dreams, and your potential? Or do you immediately start worrying about what might go wrong, about all the things you haven't done yet, or the obstacles that might arise? The reality is that how you think in the morning often sets the tone for the rest of your day. If you start your day with positive thoughts, with gratitude and purpose, you're more likely to carry that energy into everything you do. But here's where many people get stuck. They confuse positive thinking with naive optimism. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring the challenges, the hardships, or the obstacles that you will undoubtedly face. It doesn't mean pretending that everything is perfect or pretending that everything will always go your way. No, positive thinking is about choosing to focus on the opportunities within the challenges. It's about reframing how you see obstacles. Every setback you encounter should be viewed as a lesson, not a defeat. Every failure is simply feedback on what you need to improve. Let me give you an example. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before he finally invented the light bulb. Most people would have given up after a handful of failures. But Edison's mindset was completely different. He didn't see failure as a permanent setback. Instead, he saw it as a step closer to success. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This is the essence of positive thinking. It's about resilience, about understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. In fact, it's through positive thinking that you develop the mental fortitude to keep going when things get tough. When you consciously choose to focus on your abilities and the possibilities ahead, you stop allowing fear and doubt to control you. Negative thinking, on the other hand, creates fear. It makes you believe that things won't work out. But when you focus on the positive, even in the face of challenges, you unlock your full potential. Here's the key. Positive thinking is about belief. It's about believing in yourself, in your abilities, and in the idea that you are capable of achieving great things. It's about programming your mind to think I can instead of I can't. The power of belief is one of the most transformative forces in the universe. When you believe in yourself, you take actions that align with that belief. You make decisions that move you toward your goals, even when things feel uncertain. But it's not just about believing in yourself. It's also about believing that the world is full of possibilities. When you believe that good things are possible for you start seeing opportunities everywhere. You begin to notice the small wins, the chances to improve, and the people who could help you along your journey. Positive thinking allows you to stay open to opportunities that you might otherwise overlook. I want to take a moment to emphasize that this belief must be unwavering. You can't just think positively when things are going well. You need to develop a mindset that stays positive even when things aren't working out. It's easy to believe in yourself when everything is going according to plan. But what happens when life throws you a curveball? What happens when you face a challenge you weren't expecting? That's when positive thinking is most crucial. That's when you need to dig deep and remind yourself that you have the power to overcome anything. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen your positive thinking is by surrounding yourself with positivity. The people you surround yourself with, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in all impact your mindset. If you're constantly around people who are negative, who complain about everything, or who focus on what's wrong with the world, it's easy to fall into that same pattern and reach the same pattern. But if you intentionally surround yourself with people who uplift you, who believe in your potential, and who encourage you to be better, Napoleon Hill himself emphasized the power of autosuggestion, or the idea that the words you say to yourself can influence your reality. Positive affirmations are a tool you can use to train your mind to think in a positive way. By repeating affirmations daily, you create new beliefs that reinforce your positive mindset. It might feel awkward at first, but remember that your mind is a powerful tool. The more you practice positive thinking, the more natural it will become. The process of changing your thoughts takes time, but it's worth the effort. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of negativity, weeds of doubt and fear will grow. But if you plant seeds of positivity, you'll cultivate a garden full of growth, opportunity, and success. Positive thinking is about choosing to water the good seeds every day and consciously pulling out the weeds that try to take over. Persistence is a quality that most successful people share, and it's the key ingredient that separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't. It's easy to talk about success when everything is going well, but the true test of your character, your resilience, and your mindset comes when you face obstacles. Challenges are inevitable. Setbacks are part of the journey. And this is where persistence comes in. Napoleon Hill once said most great people have achieved their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about the many great individuals in history who were on the verge of giving up, only to experience their breakthrough just as they were about to quit. It's this relentless determination, this refusal to give up when things get tough, that makes all the difference. It's easy to quit. It's easy to walk away when the road gets hard, but true success is reserved for those who keep going, no matter the difficulties they encounter along the way. Many of us have faced moments in life when we felt like giving up. Maybe you've tried and failed at something multiple times, or perhaps you faced rejection and criticism that made you feel like you weren't good enough. These experiences can feel defeating, and sometimes it's hard to keep going. But here's the thing. The most successful people didn't achieve greatness by avoiding failure. They achieved it by embracing it. Failure isn't something to fear. It's something to learn from. It's an essential part of the journey towards success. I want you to think for a moment about Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison failed thousands of times before he succeeded. Thousands. In fact, when he was working on the invention of the light bulb, many people told him that it was impossible. They mocked him. They said it couldn't be done, but Edison didn't listen. Instead of seeing failure as a reason to quit, he saw it as a learning experience. Every time a new attempt didn't work, he saw it as a step closer to success. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." If Edison had stopped after 1,000 failed attempts, 5,000 or even 9,999, we wouldn't have the light bulb today. The key takeaway here is that failure isn't final unless you allow it to be. Failure only becomes permanent when you stop trying, when you give up on the dream before it's realized. But as long as you persist, as long as you keep pushing forward, failure is simply a temporary setback. a detour on the road to success. We've all heard the phrase, if at first you don't succeed, try again. But the truth is, it's not just about trying again. It's about persisting with purpose. Persistence is not about doing the same thing over and over with no strategy or improvement. It's about staying committed, but also adapting, learning from your mistakes, and improving along the way. It's about developing a mindset that no matter how difficult things get, you will continue to move forward, adjusting your approach, but never quitting. Think about the times in your own life when you faced difficulties. Maybe you tried something and it didn't work out, a business venture, a personal goal, a dream you've had for a long time. It's natural to feel discouraged in those moments. It's natural to feel like giving up. But I want you to think about how many people in history would have never achieved their success if they had quit when things got tough. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. All of these people faced setbacks, serious setbacks, but they refused to let those setbacks define them. They persisted, and their persistence paid off in ways that changed the world. One of the most important things about persistence is that it requires you to be emotionally resilient. Persistence doesn't mean ignoring the emotional toll that challenges take on you. It means feeling the frustration, feeling the anger or disappointment, and yet still finding the strength to keep moving forward. It's about managing your emotions so they don't control you. When you persist in the face of adversity, you're not just building your external success, you're building your internal strength as well. There will be days when you feel like giving up, but it's in those moments, more than any other, that you need to dig deep and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Think about why you started. Think about the vision you have for your life and the difference you want to make. Remind yourself that the road may be long, but it's worth it. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and with each step you take, you are getting closer to your goal. Persistence is also about having a clear and compelling vision. It's about understanding that your dream is bigger than the obstacles in front of you. When you have a powerful vision, something that excites you, that drives you, that fuels your passion, you are more likely to stick with it when times get tough. That vision keeps you going when the path is unclear, when the obstacles feel insurmountable, and when the world seems to be against you. Your purpose and your vision are what anchor you in moments of doubt. They give you a reason to keep moving forward, even when the road is hard. Sometimes persistence means doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. So did. There will be days when you don't have the motivation to keep going, when you'd rather quit and rest. But success isn't about motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but commitment and persistence are what carry you through. Even on the tough days, even when you don't feel like it, persistence means showing up, doing the work, and pushing through the resistance. You can't wait for motivation to strike. You have to keep going even when you don't feel like it. It's also important to remember that persistence isn't a solo journey. Surrounding yourself with the right people, people who encourage you, support you, and push you forward is crucial. When you persist through challenges, you don't have to do it alone. Lean on your support system, your mastermind group, or your mentors. When you have people who believe in you, their belief can fuel your persistence when you start to doubt yourself. They remind you that your dream is possible even when you feel exhausted or discouraged. When you embark on the journey toward achieving success, it's easy to believe that you need to do everything on your own. After all, the idea of individual achievement has often glorified the lone hero conquering all obstacles. But Napoleon Hill, in his seminal work Think and Grow Rich, emphasized a critical truth. Success is not a solitary pursuit. In fact, Hill's concept of the mastermind group is one of the most powerful tools you can use to unlock your true potential. Hill defined a mastermind as a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage one to follow through with both plan and purpose. What does this mean for you? It means that the key to success isn't just in what you know, but in who you surround yourself with. A mastermind group is not just a collection of like-minded people. It's a group of individuals who bring diverse strengths, perspectives, and experiences to the table. Together, they can help you move forward faster, solve problems more effectively, and provide accountability when the going gets tough. You see, no matter how brilliant you are, there are limitations to what you can achieve alone. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and trying to go it alone means you're missing out on the collective intelligence, creativity, and support of others. By surrounding yourself with people who share your values and who complement your skill set, you create an energy that can propel you to heights you might never have reached on your own. One of the primary benefits of a mastermind group is collaboration. The beauty of a mastermind is that it's not just about giving and receiving advice, it's about coming together to share insights, brainstorm ideas, and solve problems as a team. In a mastermind, you're not only getting different perspectives, you're also gaining access to the collective experience and expertise of the group. This diversity in thought and perspective is priceless, and it can help you avoid the mental trap of a tunnel vision where you're so focused on your own ideas that you miss out on better solutions. Take, for example, the great partnerships in history. Do history. Think about the relationship between Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Jobs was the visionary, the dreamer who saw the potential for personal computing to change the world. Wozniak, on the other hand, was the engineer, the problem solver who brought Jobs' vision to life with his technical expertise. While they were both incredibly talented on their own, their partnership, their mastermind, created something that neither of them could have achieved alone. Together, they built Apple, a company that has revolutionized the way we live and work. The power of a mastermind group also lies in accountability. When you set goals, it's easy to convince yourself that you'll get to them later. We've all been there setting ambitious goals, but struggling to follow through. But when you have a group of people who are counting on you to show up, who are expecting updates on your progress, it changes everything. Accountability gives you the extra push you need to stay focused and committed to your goals. You're no longer working in isolation. You're working with a group that's invested in your success, and their support helps keep you on track. Another critical aspect of a mastermind group is support. The journey to success is rarely smooth. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and moments when you feel like giving up. During these times, the encouragement and support of your mastermind group can make all the difference. These are the people who will remind you of your strengths when you feel weak, who will lift you up when you're feeling down, and who will push you to keep going even when you think you can't. But what happens when you're in a mastermind group that isn't positive or supportive? This is why choosing the right people is crucial. The energy and attitude of the group can either propel you forward or hold you back. If you're surrounded by people who are negative, who complain about their circumstances, or who aren't committed to their own success, it will be difficult for you to thrive. A mastermind group should be made up of people who elevate each other, not drag each other down. This is why it's so important to be selective about who you let into your circle. When looking to form or join a mastermind group, think about the qualities you need in others, people who are driven, supportive, and committed to growth. A successful mastermind group is not about gathering people who will simply agree with you. It's about finding individuals who are willing to challenge your ideas, offer constructive feedback, and hold you to a higher standard. These are the people who will push you out of your comfort zone, who will help you see possibilities that you might not have considered, and who will inspire you to work harder and think bigger. One of the most overlooked benefits of a mastermind group is the power of collective energy. When you get together with a group of people who are all working towards similar goals, there's a kind of magic that happens. The energy in the group feeds off itself, creating a cycle of inspiration, motivation, and creativity. It's like each person brings their own spark. And when those sparks combine, they create a fire that's much larger than any one individual could ignite on their own. This energy is contagious. It fuels you. It makes you want to work harder, dream bigger, and push further. Being part of a mastermind group also means you're constantly growing. Growth comes from exposure to new ideas and experiences, and by engaging with others who are on a similar journey, you're consistently exposed to new ways of thinking, new strategies, and new solutions. Each meeting becomes an opportunity to learn and expand your mindset. You begin to see things from different angles and are able to approach challenges with a broader perspective. This continual learning and development is one of the most valuable aspects of a mastermind group. Ultimately, a mastermind group becomes more than just a collection of individuals. It becomes a community of like-minded individuals who are all working towards the same goal, success. And success, when achieved collectively, is much sweeter. You celebrate each other's victories, you learn from each other's mistakes, and you lift each other up in times of need. This sense of camaraderie, of shared purpose, is invaluable. It's what makes the journey worth it. Dead fear is one of the greatest obstacles we face in life. It's something that holds us back, keeps us from pursuing our dreams, and often paralyzes us in moments when we need to take action the most. Napoleon Hill spoke at length about the role of fear in success. In Think and Grow Rich, he identified fear as one of the primary forces that holds people back from achieving greatness. Fear is the silent enemy, always lurking in the background, whispering doubts and insecurities into our minds. And if we listen to it, if we allow it to dictate our actions, it can prevent us from becoming who we're truly meant to be. But here's the thing. Fear is not real. It's a creation of the mind. Hill said, "A fear is a state of mind." What he meant by this is that fear isn't something that exists outside of us. It's something that we create through our thoughts and perceptions. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. These are all constructs that live only in our minds. And the good news is that since fear is a product of our thoughts, we have the power to change our relationship with it. Think about the last time you were afraid to do something. Maybe it was speaking in public, starting a new business, or making a bold decision that could change your life. Pancho, how did that fear feel? Likely, it was paralyzing. It kept you from acting, from stepping out of your comfort zone. But here's the reality. Nothing ever happens unless you take action. Fear will always be there. But the question is, will you let it control you, or will you take action despite it? Taking action even in the face of fear is the key to moving forward and building the life you want. One of the biggest myths about fear is that we have to completely get rid of it before we can succeed. The truth is, fear is something you learn to manage, not something that disappears entirely. Every successful person, every entrepreneur, every leader has faced fear at some point. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful people take action anyway. They don't wait for the fear to go away. They move forward in spite of it. They understand that fear is just a sign that they're pushing into new territory, that they're growing. This is where taking small steps becomes so important. Overcoming fear isn't about taking giant leaps into the unknown. It's about breaking the challenge down into smaller, manageable steps. When you break something down into smaller actions, the fear doesn't seem so overwhelming. You can't eat an entire elephant in one bite, but you can take it one bite at a time. When you focus on the next small step instead of the entire overwhelming picture, it makes the process of facing your fear more manageable. You build momentum with each step you take. As you continue to take action, the fear begins to shrink. Action is the antidote to fear. Let's talk about some of the most common fears that stop people from taking action. Fear of failure and fear of rejection. These two fears in particular are deeply ingrained in many people. The fear of failing, the fear that you will try and fall short, is paralyzing. We often believe that failure is a reflection of our inadequacy, that it somehow makes us unworthy. But failure is not permanent. Failure is a lesson, an opportunity to learn what works and what doesn't. Hill said every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Failure is the process through which you learn, grow, and refine your approach. Think about the first time you tried to ride a bike. Did you succeed the very first time? Of course not, Mr. Riddle. You probably fell off, got scraped up, and felt frustrated. But that didn't stop you from getting back on the bike. Over time, you learned how to balance, pedal, and steer, and eventually, you became so good at it that you could ride without even thinking. Success works in the same way. Think then. Every time you fail, you're simply falling off the bike. But as long as you get back up and keep going, you'll eventually get it right. The more you try, the more you learn, and the closer you get to success. The fear of rejection is another powerful force that holds many people back. We all want to be liked, accepted, and validated, and the thought of being rejected can be terrifying. But here's the truth. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. Rejection is simply part of the process. Every successful person, from authors to entrepreneurs, has faced rejection. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers before she found one willing to take a chance on her book. If she had let the rejection stop her, the world would have never known the magic of Hogwarts. Rejection is simply someone else's opinion, and it's not the final word on your abilities. Rejection is an event, not a definition. You can fail today, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. Failure is an event, not an identity. To overcome the fear of rejection, shift your mindset. Rather than viewing rejection as something negative, view it as a stepping stone. It's not the end, it's the beginning of something new. Every no brings you closer to the yes that will take you to your goals. Rejection simply means you need to keep looking for the right opportunity, the right fit, the right moment. Don't let a rejection define you or your path. See it as feedback, a part of the journey. Another key aspect of overcoming fear is visualization. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools for overcoming fear because it allows you to imagine success, not failure. When you visualize yourself succeeding, you're rewiring your brain to focus on what's possible, not what's scary. You're training your mind to picture success instead of disaster. Imagine yourself stepping into that new opportunity, giving that speech, launching that business, and feeling the joy of accomplishment. As you practice visualization, your fear of the unknown decreases because your mind becomes familiar with success. You're preparing yourself to win before you even start. Finally, embrace the discomfort. Fear often stems from the discomfort of stepping outside of your comfort zone. But the truth is, growth only happens when you step into discomfort. Every time you push past your fear and take action, you expand your capacity to deal with challenges. The more you expose yourself to the things you fear, the less control they have over you. Over time, what once terrified you will no longer be a threat. It will just be another challenge to face, another opportunity to grow. Embrace that discomfort because it's the key to unlocking your fullest potential. Success is often thought of as an individual achievement, a personal journey where the focus is on personal gains, recognition, and rewards. But true success, the kind that brings lasting fulfillment, is not measured solely by what you accumulate for yourself. Instead, it's about what you give back to others. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply and emphasized that no man can succeed in life without helping others. This principle isn't just about charity or philanthropy. It's about creating a life that has meaning, that contributes to the betterment of others, and that leaves a lasting legacy. When you begin to view success through the lens of service to others, something extraordinary happens. You begin to move away from a mindset of scarcity and toward one of abundance. When you focus solely on your own success, it's easy to feel like there isn't enough, not enough time, not enough resources, not enough opportunities. But when you start giving, whether it's through time, knowledge, or resources, you realize that there is more than enough to go around. Haidasically around. The more you give, the more you receive in return, not just in material wealth, but in fulfillment, happiness, and personal growth. That the act of giving expands your perspective. It forces you to think beyond your own immediate needs and goals, and instead focuses on the well-being of others. This shift in focus changes the way you approach life. You begin to see people as partners in your journey, not competitors. You begin to share ideas, offer support, and celebrate the success of others just as you would your own. This creates a ripple effect where the success you achieve is not isolated but interconnected with the success of those around you. One of the most powerful forms of giving is mentorship. When you mentor others, you give them not only your time, but also your experience and wisdom. So think about the people who have mentored you along the way, those who have shared their knowledge, who have supported you when you needed it most, and who have helped you navigate the obstacles in your life. A good mentor doesn't just teach, they inspire. They challenge you to be better, and they help you unlock potential you didn't even know you had. Being a mentor is one of the most powerful ways to give back because you are directly influencing the next generation of leaders, thinkers, and innovators. But giving back isn't just about giving your time or wisdom. It's also about sharing resources. If you have the ability to support a cause, a community, or an individual, that act of generosity creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you could have imagined. When you give financially or materially, you are helping to create opportunities for others that they may not have had access to otherwise. You're lifting people up, helping them move from a place of limitation to a place of possibility. And when you do this, you open the doors to even more opportunities for yourself. It's not just about what you give, but about how you contribute to the collective growth of humanity. This idea of giving back also applies to sharing your knowledge. When you share what you've learned along your journey, whether through speaking, writing, teaching, or any other medium, you're creating value that extends beyond your personal experience. Think about all the information, tools, and strategies that have helped you succeed. When you share them with others, you are not only enhancing their lives, but also reinforcing the lessons you've learned. It's a powerful way to solidify your own understanding while contributing to the success of those around you. But let's not forget that giving back isn't always about grand gestures. It doesn't have to involve huge donations or even large-scale mentoring programs. Giving back can be as simple as offering a kind word, lending a helping hand, or giving your attention to someone who needs it. In today's fast-paced, often disconnected world, even small acts of kindness can make an incredible difference. Sometimes simply listening to someone, showing empathy, or offering encouragement can have a profound impact on their life. These small moments of giving create connections that can lead to greater things. There's also a psychological and emotional benefit to giving. Numerous studies have shown that helping others and contributing to the community leads to greater happiness and fulfillment. Brutalment. Fulfillment. When you give, you release dopamine and other feel-good chemicals in your brain, which boost your mood and overall well-being. Helping others reminds you of your own purpose and significance, and it brings a sense of satisfaction that money or material success alone cannot provide. The happiness you derive from giving is intrinsic, not extrinsic. It's the kind of happiness that comes from knowing you are making a positive difference, that your actions matter, and that you are contributing to something bigger than yourself. This idea of giving is also deeply tied to legacy. We often talk about leaving a legacy in terms of wealth or accomplishments, but the truth is that the most lasting legacies are those that are rooted in service to others. When you give back, you build a reputation not just for what you've achieved, but for who you are as a person. A legacy built on giving is one that endures long after you're gone. It's the kind of legacy that transcends money and material possessions because it's built on the values of generosity, empathy, and love. It's the kind of legacy that continues to inspire and uplift future generations. In a world that often focuses on individual success, giving back reminds us that true wealth isn't just about what we accumulate for ourselves. It's about what we contribute to others. It's about making the world a better place, about creating opportunities for those who come after us, and about helping others reach their full potential. When we give back, we align ourselves with the highest purpose, the purpose of serving humanity, of making a difference in the lives of others, and of leaving behind a legacy of kindness, generosity, and positive change. We can start small. We can start with the people around us, friends, family, colleagues, and find ways to help them succeed. We can volunteer our time, share our knowledge, or simply be there for someone in need. Over time, as you continue to give, you will begin to see the true power, generosity. You will see how giving enriches not only the lives of others, but your own life as well. And in the process, you will realize that the more you give, the more you receive in ways that money can never buy. The power you are searching for, the strength you keep hoping to discover, the confidence you think other people were born with, it has always been inside you. It has always lived in your mind, your heart, and your spirit, waiting for the right moment to rise. Most people go their entire lives believing they are missing something. They think they need more education, more money, more support, more time, more opportunities. But what they truly need is the courage to look within themselves and recognize the incredible potential they have ignored for years. The greatest shift in your life will not come from something outside of you. It will come from the moment you finally accept that you are enough, you have enough, and you can build the rest along the way. You must understand this truth deeply. Nothing about your past, your mistakes, your failures, or your current circumstances the power to limit what you can become. What you carry inside your imagination, your fire, your desire, your resilience is far more powerful than anything around you. Every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you stand right now. Confused, tired, unsure, undervalued. They too questioned whether they had what it takes. They too fought through self-doubt, criticism, fear and moments of dark. But the difference is that somewhere along the path, they became aware of the gift they carried within themselves. They realized that the mind, when directed with clarity and purpose, becomes the greatest source of wealth any human can possess. Think about every time you felt inspiration, every moment you had an idea that excited you, every dream that kept returning to your heart, no matter how many times life tried to crush it. Those were not coincidences. Those were signals. Signals from the deeper part of you, the part that knows who you truly are, not who the world told you to be. Inside you lives a creative force that refuses to die, even when you try to silence it. Inside you lives a version of yourself that already knows how to win, how to rise, how to overcome, how to build, how to transform. The question is not whether you have power. The question is whether you will finally allow yourself to use it. Most people never tap into their true potential because they spend their entire lives listening to their limitations. They listen to fears, to doubts, to the voices of people who settled for less. They listen to memories of failures instead of possibilities of success. But you must understand something, your inner voice, your higher self, your inner millionaire, that part of you speaks in whispers, not screams. It invites you softly. It pushes you gently. It nudges you through curiosity, interest, desire, and excitement. The more you trust that voice, the more power you unlock. There is something divine about human potential. The same mind that can imagine a dream, the same mind that can create the path to achieve it. If you can hold a thought long enough, emotionally enough, consistently enough, your mind begins to believe it. And when your mind believes it, your actions change. Your habits change. Your decisions change. Your energy changes. Your opportunities change. Your opportunities change. This is the hidden truth of every success story. The moment the individual realizes that they themselves are the source of their transformation, you have survived situations you thought would break you. You have overcome challenges you never talk about. You have walked through storms that others would have collapsed under. And yet, here you are still standing, still dreaming, still trying. That is not weakness. That is power. That is evidence of an inner strength you haven't even fully discovered yet. If you are capable of surviving what you survived, imagine what you are capable of achieving when you decide to operate from strength instead of fear. Your inner power grows every time you choose discipline over comfort. It grows when you choose faith over doubt. It grows when you choose effort over excuses. It grows when you choose to keep going even when progress is slow. Every day you wake up and try again. You are feeding your inner millionaire mindset. Every day you push through a little resistance, you are sharpening your mentality. Every day you refuse to quit, you are proving to yourself that you were built for something greater. The power inside you becomes unstoppable when you learn to control the direction of your mind. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions shape your actions. Your actions shape your destiny. So when you take control of your thoughts, when you feed your mind with belief, desire, discipline, purpose, and courage, you begin to lift yourself into a new level of existence. You begin to see what others cannot see. You begin to create opportunities instead of waiting for them. You begin to attract the right people, the right chances, the right results. Because your mind is aligned with abundance instead of lack, this inner power does not appear suddenly. It awakens slowly, rise by rise, step by step, decision by decision. It awakens when you stop doubting who you are. It awakens when you stop comparing your journey to others. It awakens when you stop waiting for permission to become the person you secretly know you can be. One day, without even noticing, you will look back and realize that the moment your mindset changed, your entire life direction changed. Because everything you ever wanted was waiting for the day you finally believed you were worthy of it. Desire is not just a wish. It is not a fleeting thought or a simple daydream that comes and goes when life allows. Desire is the fire that burns within your soul, a force so powerful that it has the ability to move mountains, rewrite your story, and propel you toward heights you once thought were impossible. Napoleon Hill taught that desire is the starting point of all achievement, the fuel for all success, and the very foundation upon which empires, legacies, and lives are built. Without desire, you may go through the motions, but nothing extraordinary will ever come from your efforts. Without desire, you will drift through life, waiting for opportunities to find you instead of creating them yourself. Desire is the difference between those who merely exist and those who truly live, who transform, who create. who leave an impact that lasts beyond their lifetime. Think about your greatest dreams, the ones that wake you up in the middle of the night, the ones that make your heart race, the ones you cannot stop imagining even when the world tries to drown them out. That is desire speaking. That is your inner millionaire mind sending you a signal that you were meant for something bigger than your current reality. Most people ignore this voice. They let fear, doubt, or comfort silence it. They convince themselves that their dreams are unrealistic or that they must be patient and wait for the right time. But the truth is that the right time is now. The right time is every moment you make the decision to act, to believe, to pursue with unwavering focus, and to nurture the fire that lives within you. Desire is more than wanting. Desire is emotional. It is a craving that penetrates every fiber of your being. It keeps you restless, uneasy with mediocrity, uncomfortable with the ordinary. Desire is what causes sleepless nights filled with plans, ideas, and visions of what could be. It is what gives you the energy to rise early, the courage to take risks, the perseverance to endure setbacks. It is the driving force behind every extraordinary achievement ever recorded. Without it, your mind cannot commit fully to the journey, your actions lack intensity, and your efforts fail to create lasting results. Desire is the spark that ignites faith, and faith is what turns desire into reality. To awaken your desire, you must clarify what it is that you truly want. Show not what society says you should want, not what your family or friends expect of you, not what seems convenient or safe. You must ask yourself, what is it that sets my soul on fire? What is it that, if achieved, would make me feel alive, unstoppable, and fulfilled beyond measure? When you discover that, when you define it with absolute clarity, desire becomes almost magnetic. It pulls you forward, giving you vision when the path is unclear, strength when the weight is heavy, and courage when fear threatens to paralyze you. Desire is relentless. When your mind is consumed with it, you begin to notice opportunities others overlook, ideas that others dismiss, solutions that others cannot see. Desire sharpens your focus. Desire intensifies your determination. Desire makes you unstoppable, but desire alone is not enough. Both. It must be combined with belief and action. Desire without belief is wishful thinking. Desire without action is wasted energy. The combination of a burning desire, unwavering belief, and purposeful action is what transforms ordinary individuals into the extraordinary. Napoleon Hill emphasized that desire must become a definite chief aim, a goal so vivid, so emotionally charged that your mind refuses to accept anything less. You must write it down, speak it aloud, feel it in your body, and let it consume your thoughts. You must see yourself achieving it in such detail that your imagination begins to mold reality. The desire is the seed. Faith waters it, action grows it into the life you have always envisioned. That free, successful person you admire started with desire. Henry Ford wanted to revolutionize transportation. Oprah Winfrey wanted to change the way the world sees storytelling and influence. Elon Musk desires to make humanity multiplanetary. Desire is the invisible engine behind all achievements. It is the relentless pursuit of a vision that others cannot yet see. Desire refuses to wait for approval or permission. Desire defies the obstacles, ignores the naysayers, and perseveres when hope seems dim. It is the raw energy of the soul saying, I will not accept anything less than what I am capable of. The intensity of your desire determines the intensity of your results. A small, lukewarm desire leads to lukewarm results. A half-hearted dream leads to partial achievements. But when desire becomes an obsession, when it saturates your mind, body, and spirit, it reshapes your reality, soaks your reality. It makes you notice things others do not. It keeps you moving when every reason to quit exists. It makes you resourceful, inventive, and resilient. Desire is the heartbeat of your millionaire mindset. The unspoken vow that you will claim what belongs to you. The refusal to settle for less than the extraordinary life you were destined to live. And here is the most important truth. Your desire does not need to be logical, convenient, or guaranteed. Your desire simply needs to be strong enough to make you act. It doesn't matter how impossible it seems today. It doesn't matter how long it will take. It doesn't matter how many failures you will face. What matters is that your desire consumes you, drives you, and shapes every choice you make. Desire is the compass. Desire is the engine. Desire is the fuel that transforms thoughts into reality, dreams into actions, and ideas into wealth. Every time you awaken that desire and allow it to guide you, you take one step closer to the life you were born to create. Faith is one of the most misunderstood forces in the universe. Many people think of it as simply a religious term or a vague hope that things will work out. But real faith, the kind Napoleon Hill spoke about, the kind that creates wealth, transformation, and unstoppable success, is much more than wishful thinking. Faith is a state of mind, a certainty so powerful that it begins to shape your reality long before the circumstances around you reflect it. Faith is not dependent on what you see, what you feel, or what others believe. Faith exists independently of evidence. It is the unwavering conviction that what you desire is already possible, even if your current situation says otherwise. Faith is the invisible architect of your future, silently building, silently arranging, silently creating the conditions for your dreams to become reality. When you possess faith, you operate from a place of certainty rather than fear. You do not wait for luck, validation, or perfect conditions. You act because you know, deep in your core, that the universe is aligned with your vision and that your efforts will not be wasted. 10. Faith transforms hesitation into courage, doubt into determination, and uncertainty into clarity. It allows you to keep moving forward when every logical reason would tell you to quit. It allows you to take risks that others avoid, to seize opportunities others overlook, and to trust your intuition even when it goes against conventional wisdom. Faith is not blind. It is clear, it is sharp, it is alive. It is the anchor that keeps your mind steady while your dreams take root and grow, even in the most hostile or challenging environments. Every great achievement in history began with faith. The inventors who changed the world believed in possibilities that no one else could imagine. The leaders who shaped nations acted on convictions that seemed impossible at the time. The entrepreneurs who created empires risked everything because their faith in their vision was unshakable. Faith is the force that allowed them to continue when failure seemed inevitable, when obstacles appeared insurmountable, and when every voice around them screamed that their dream was impossible. Faith beyond what is visible and draws from a deeper truth that your potential is infinite, and the universe conspires in favor of those who refuse to quit believing. Faith also strengthens the mind. When your belief in your goals is unshakable, your mind begins to work differently. You start noticing opportunities that were invisible before. You begin connecting ideas in ways that others cannot. You solve problems creatively because you are not constrained by doubt. Faith rewires your brain, programs your subconscious, and aligns your thoughts with action. This is why Hill emphasized that faith must be repeated, strengthened, and felt emotionally. Repetition of belief, combined with deep emotion, convinces your subconscious that success is not only possible but inevitable. And when your subconscious believes it, your conscious mind begins to follow. Your actions become more confident, your decisions more decisive, and your energy more magnetic. Faith is not passive. It demands action. Many people say, I have faith, but they do nothing to back it up. Real faith moves you. It gives you the courage to step forward into the unknown, to risk failure, to face rejection, and to persist through hardships. Faith is the internal compass that guides your actions even when external conditions are unfavorable. It turns fear into fuel, obstacles into lessons, and setbacks into stepping stones. Without faith, your desire may flicker and die. With faith, your desire becomes unstoppable, a living force that propels you relentlessly toward your goals. Another key aspect of faith is resilience. Faith allows you to trust that failure is temporary, that mistakes are lessons, and that challenges are temporary tests designed to prepare you for something greater. When you possess faith, disappointment does not break you. It educates you. When you face rejection, it refines you. When circumstances seem impossible, it strengthens your resolve. Faith transforms adversity into opportunity. It enables you to see beyond the immediate struggle to the ultimate triumph that lies ahead. The mind that operates with faith cannot be shaken by the chaos of the world because it is anchored in a deeper truth that the unseen power within you and the universe will never abandon a person who truly believes in their mission. Faith also has a magnetic effect. People, resources, and opportunities are drawn to those who radiate belief in themselves and their vision. When you act with faith, others sense your certainty, your purpose, and your determination. They are more willing to support you, collaborate with you, and trust you. The energy of faith is contagious. It opens doors that logic alone cannot open. It creates networks of possibility around you, aligns circumstances in your favor, and often produces miracles that seem impossible to those who are skeptical. This is why faith is not merely internal. It interacts with the external world, bending reality in subtle but powerful ways to match your vision. Faith begins with belief in yourself. You must first trust that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you deserve the success you seek. Then it extends to trust in your vision, your path, and the unseen forces that work with persistence and alignment toward results. Faith is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a discipline, a daily commitment. It requires you to speak affirmations, visualize success vividly, take action consistently, and feed your mind with thoughts that reinforce possibility. It is a living, breathing process that grows stronger each time you choose belief over doubt, courage over fear, and persistence over surrender. But faith creates miracles because it transforms your internal state first. Once your mind, emotions, and actions are aligned with belief, external results inevitably follow. What others call luck, coincidence, or timing is often the manifestation of faith in motion. You begin to see solutions attract the right opportunities and generate momentum that is invisible to the untrained eye. Faith is the unseen hand that guides you when circumstances are chaotic, the compass that points true north when the path is uncertain, and the quiet voice that says, "Keep going, your breakthrough is closer than you think." Faith is the bridge between desire and achievement, the secret ingredient that converts dreams into reality, and the force that allows ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. It is invisible, intangible, yet undeniable in its effect. When your faith is strong, your mind, heart, and soul work as one, and the world begins to respond in kind. Dreams are beautiful, visions are inspiring, and goals can fill your mind with excitement. But until you take action, they remain nothing more than thoughts floating in the air. The human mind has a tendency to get trapped in planning, overthinking, and waiting for perfect conditions. Yet the truth is that perfection never arrives. Opportunity is never fully convenient. Waiting for the right moment is the enemy of achievement. Every extraordinary life, every fortune, every transformation has been built by people who refused to wait and instead took deliberate steps, however small, toward their vision. Action is the currency of success. Taking action requires courage, especially when the path is uncertain, when others doubt you, when the risk of failure looms large. Most people hesitate, procrastinate, or retreat into comfort because action demands effort, discipline, and exposure. To act is to leave behind the familiar and step into the unknown. To act is to risk embarrassment, rejection, and temporary defeat. And yet every time you act despite fear, you grow stronger. Every time you act despite uncertainty, your confidence increases. Every time you act despite opposition, your momentum builds. Even small steps produces results that compound over time, turning ordinary lives into extraordinary journeys. Napoleon Hill often emphasized that knowledge alone is not power. Knowledge becomes power only when it is applied. Only when it is applied. You can read books, attend seminars, watch videos, and absorb wisdom. But unless you take decisive action, all of that knowledge will remain dormant. The world is full of people who know what to do, but never do it. Those people remain spectators of life, watching others achieve what they only dreamed about. Action transforms learning into results, ideas into reality, and potential into accomplishment. Without action, your mind remains a playground of possibilities, and your life remains stagnant. Action is also a teacher. Every step you take, every attempt you make, every decision to move forward teaches you something invaluable. You learn what works, what doesn't, what challenges arise, and how to overcome them. You gain clarity and refine your strategy. You discover your strengths, reveal your weaknesses, and develop resilience that books and lectures cannot provide. Without action, mistakes and failures never happen. And without mistakes and failures, growth is limited. Action forces you to confront reality, adapt, and improve. It converts abstract thinking into practical experience, and that experience becomes the foundation of mastery. Procrastination is the silent killer of dreams. The mind invents reasons, excuses, and delays because it fears discomfort, uncertainty, or temporary hardship. But every day you postpone action, the gap between where you are and where you want to be grows larger. Time moves forward regardless of whether you act or not. Opportunities fade. Momentum slows, dreams begin to lose their urgency. The secret of the achievers is not that they never feel fear or hesitation, but that they act in spite of it. They understand that momentum is built one step at a time, and that action is the great equalizer between talent, knowledge, desire, and achievement. That action is contagious. When you take steps toward your goals, the world begins to respond. People notice your commitment, doors begin to open, and resources appear in ways you could not have predicted. Action creates energy and attracts opportunities. It transforms your environment and the people around you. Every time you act, you signal to yourself and the universe that your dreams are serious, that your desire is genuine, and that you are ready to claim what you seek. It is impossible to underestimate the power of consistent action over time. Small, focused, persistent steps compound into massive results, and every giant achievement begins with a single deliberate action. Another critical aspect of action is consistency. It is not the one-time heroic effort that creates lasting success, but the repeated, disciplined, persistent efforts taken day after day. Action must become a habit, a way of life. The mind and body align with purpose when action becomes constant. The routine of daily effort, the commitment to show up, and the refusal to quit under pressure are what separate dreamers from achievers. One action may not create immediate results, but over time these actions build momentum, confidence, and skill, ultimately producing outcomes that once seemed impossible. Taking action also requires a mindset of experimentation. Not every step will succeed. Not every decision will be perfect. But every step taken provides feedback, insight, and growth. Action teaches adaptability, resourcefulness, and problem solving. It reveals opportunities that are invisible to those who only think, plan, or acting in alignment with your desires and faith brings clarity and accelerates progress. It allows you to discover your true potential by pushing boundaries and breaking through limitations that once seemed insurmountable. Action demands ownership. It requires taking responsibility for your life, your results, and your future. You cannot blame circumstances, people, or luck if you refuse to act. You are the architect of your destiny, and action is the tool you use to build it. Every step, every decision, every choice to move forward is a declaration that you are in control. Achievers understand this deeply. They do not wait for permission, validation, or ideal conditions. They create, they execute, they persist. They overcome. They move relentlessly toward their vision because they know that action is the engine that transforms thought into reality. Ultimately, action separates dreamers from achievers because it is the manifestation of commitment. Dreams remain dreams without effort. Ideas remain ideas without implementation. Faith remains abstract without motion. But action transforms all of it into results. It brings clarity, momentum, and confidence. It produces experiences, insights, and mastery. It opens doors that logic cannot explain and creates paths where none seem to exist. Every success story is ultimately a story of action, of someone who refused to remain passive, of someone who embraced the discomfort of movement, of someone who understood that their destiny required effort, persistence, and courage to step into the unknown. Persistence is the quiet force that separates those who achieve greatness from those who fade into the background. Talent, intelligence, and opportunity are important, but without persistence, they often go to waste. Every person who has ever achieved something remarkable, every legend whose name echoes through history, has relied on persistence as their most trusted ally. Persistence is not a flashy skill, nor is it glamorous or easy. It is the commitment to continue moving forward, to keep taking steps, to keep striving, even when the world seems against you, even when the obstacles appear insurmountable, and even when hope feels like a distant memory. It is the ability to face failure, disappointment, and rejection again and again without surrendering to them. Persistence is not about perfection. It is about perseverance. It is the willingness to rise one more time than you fall, to try one more time than you fail, and to believe in the unseen results long before they appear. Consider the lives of the people history calls great. They were not handed success on a silver platter. They faced countless setbacks, ridicule, and moments when giving up seemed easier than continuing. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Every attempt, every failure was a step closer to the breakthrough that would change the world. J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection before publishing the Harry Potter series that would captivate millions. Their persistence, their refusal to quit, transformed ordinary circumstances into extraordinary achievements. Persist turns setbacks into lessons. mistakes into insights, and obstacles into stepping stones. Without it, even the most talented individuals would remain unseen, their potential untapped, their contributions lost to the passage of time. Persistence requires a mindset that embraces long-term thinking. The road to success is rarely smooth or quick. It is often filled with detours, delays, and difficulties that test your resolve. Many people fail not because they lack ability, but because they give up too soon. They measure progress in days or weeks rather than months and years. Persistence is about staying committed to your vision, even when results are slow, when circumstances seem unfair, and when the pressure to quit is intense. It is about keeping your eyes fixed on the ultimate goal, maintaining faith in yourself, and refusing to let temporary obstacles dictate the trajectory of your life. Persistence is a daily choice, a continuous decision to show up, to push forward, and to refuse to settle for anything less than what you are capable of achieving. The power of persistence lies in its compounding effect. Each action you take, each effort you make, no matter how small, builds upon the previous one. Every time you overcome resistance, solve a problem, or navigate a challenge, you grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Over time, these repeated actions create momentum that becomes unstoppable. The world may not notice your persistence at first, but eventually it becomes evident in the results you produce. Persistence is invisible at the start, subtle in the middle, and undeniable in the end. It turns ordinary people into legends not overnight, but over time through consistent effort, determination, and an unshakable refusal to quit. Persistence also builds resilience. Life will test you in ways you never imagined. Oh, you will encounter failures, betrayals, unexpected setbacks, and moments of despair. Without persistence, these challenges can break you, crush your spirit, and derail your dreams. With persistence, they become opportunities to grow, to learn, and to adapt. Every setback becomes a lesson, every failure a chance to refine your approach, and every obstacle a training ground for your future triumphs. Persistence teaches patience, humility, and courage. It cultivates a mindset that sees beyond immediate circumstances and focuses on the greater picture, the ultimate vision you are striving to achieve. The other key element of persistence is belief in your purpose. When your goals are aligned with your deepest values, when your vision resonates with your soul, persistence becomes natural. It is no longer a forced effort, but an expression of who you are. You continue because you must, because stopping is unthinkable, and because giving up would mean denying your true potential. This alignment between purpose and action fuels a relentless energy that pushes you forward, even when others cannot understand your motivation. Persistence becomes the language of your soul, a declaration that you will not be deterred, that you will rise above, and that you will claim the life you were meant to live. Distance is not linear. Progress may feel slow, uneven, and frustrating. Some days will feel like victories, while others will feel like defeats. But the key is to continue moving forward, to maintain effort even when results are delayed, and to trust that every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to your ultimate goal. It is in these moments of struggle that character is built, skills are honed, and your inner strength is forged. Persistence is not a test of luck. It is a demonstration of your commitment, your resilience, and your willingness to endure what others cannot. Finally, persistence transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies. It allows you to surpass limitations, break barriers, and achieve heights that once seemed impossible. It enables you to leave a mark on the world that is lasting and meaningful. When you persist, you show the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are not defined by circumstances, failures, or setbacks. You are defined by your ability to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep striving until you achieve the success that is already destined for you. Persistence is the essence of greatness. It is the silent, relentless force that turns dreams into reality, struggles into victories, and ordinary people into legends whose impact resonates far beyond their own lifetime.